Longing is more than just missing someone. It is a complex, often contradictory emotion that blends desire, hope, pain, and sometimes confusion. It is born in the tension between presence and absence, between connection and isolation. When we long for someone who does not return our feelings, our minds can become consumed by memories and fantasies. We might replay conversations, imagine moments that never happened, or idealize the person in ways that reality would not support. This mental loop feeds the longing, making it feel like a constant companion. Physiologically, longing is experienced in the body, a tightness in the chest, a sinking feeling in the stomach, or a restless energy. These sensations mirror the emotional conflict. We crave closeness but face distance. This pain is real and tangible, and it persists because it serves an important function. It signals that a vital social connection is missing, something our brains are hardwired to value deeply. Humans are social creatures. From an evolutionary perspective, our survival depended on forming and maintaining strong social bonds. Being excluded or isolated meant greater risk of danger and death. Because of this, the human brain developed complex systems to encourage connection and punish social separation. Neuroscientific studies reveal that the brain processes social pain similarly to physical pain. When a person experiences rejection or unreciprocated affection, areas such as the anterior cingulate cortex and the insula light up, the same regions activated by physical injury. Furthermore, the brain's reward system, primarily involving dopamine, plays a key role in longing. Thinking about or anticipating connection with the desired person triggers dopamine release, creating feelings of pleasure and reinforcing our desire. This mechanism explains why longing can feel addictive. We chase the highs of hope and anticipation even when faced with repeated disappointment. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory sheds light on how early relationships shape our patterns of longing. Our attachment style influences how we respond to separation, rejection, and emotional unavailability. Anxious attachment is characterized by intense fear of abandonment and a strong desire for closeness. People with this style often experience deep, persistent longing when their feelings are unreturned. Avoidant attachment involves discomfort with intimacy and a tendency to suppress emotional needs, though longing may still occur beneath the surface. And secure attachment promotes healthier coping with absence and rejection, as these individuals have a stronger sense of self-worth and trust in relationships. Understanding your attachment style can offer insight into why you may long more intensely for someone who does not reciprocate. Absence has a paradoxical power over desire. Philosophers throughout history have reflected on how what is missing often becomes more precious in the mind than what is present. Plato wrote of Eros, a divine madness and yearning for wholeness, the desire to reunite with a lost other half. This yearning creates a tension. The beloved is both desired and absent, and that absence feeds the longing. Existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre view longing as an encounter with our fundamental solitude. We desire recognition and connection, but face the reality that others are free and separate beings, not fully ours to possess. Buddhist philosophy offers a contrasting perspective, teaching that craving and attachment cause suffering, and that liberation comes from acceptance and letting go. Longing is maintained by several cognitive patterns. Idealization. We inflate the positive traits of the person we miss, overlooking flaws and realities. Rumination. We repeatedly think about the person or the relationship, which keeps emotional wounds open. Emotional reasoning. We assume that our feelings reflect objective truth. I feel unloved, so I must be unlovable. Catastrophizing, imagining worst-case scenarios about loss or rejection. By becoming aware of these patterns, we can begin to challenge and change them. Absence invites imagination to fill in the gaps. We create stories about what could have been, about secret feelings or future possibilities. Sometimes these fantasies feel more satisfying than the reality. This imaginative process sustains longing, as the person we miss becomes not just themselves, but an ideal or symbol of what we desire. In today's connected world, social media amplifies longing. Seeing the lives of others online, especially those we miss, can trigger envy, comparison, and intensified yearning. Culturally, media and art often romanticize unrequited love, creating narratives that make longing seem poetic or noble, sometimes at the expense of emotional health. While longing is natural, prolonged suffering can damage well-being. Here are strategies to cope. 1. Acknowledge your feelings without judgment. 2. Practice mindfulness. Observe your emotions without getting swept away. 3. Understand your attachment style. This knowledge empowers you. 4th, challenge cognitive distortions. Question idealizations and rumination. 5. Focus on self-care and self-love. Nurture your own needs. 6. Create healthy boundaries. Limit contact or social media exposure if needed. 7. Seek reciprocal relationships. Cultivate connections that are mutual and supportive. Longing for someone who doesn't miss us is a profound human experience that touches on our need for connection, our brain chemistry, and our existential condition. It is painful, often confusing, but also illuminating. It reveals our capacity to love deeply and our struggle with absence and desire. By understanding the psychological and philosophical dimensions of longing, we gain tools to heal and grow, transforming what once was only pain into a path toward greater self-awareness and emotional freedom. Longing shares surprising similarities with addiction. Both involve the brain's reward circuits, primarily dopamine pathways, which are responsible for feelings of pleasure, motivation, and craving. When we think of someone we miss or hope for their return, the brain releases dopamine, which creates a sensation of anticipation and reward. This reward reinforces the desire, making us seek more of that feeling, often by replaying memories or imagining future interactions. Unfortunately, when the desired person remains emotionally unavailable, this cycle can trap us in an endless loop, chasing hope that may never materialize. This cycle explains why longing can feel compulsive, almost beyond our control, and why letting go can be so difficult. Memory is a powerful force in longing. Our minds tend to highlight positive memories, glossing over the painful or negative moments that might encourage us to move on. This selective memory can cause us to hold on to an idealized version of the person rather than the real one. Moreover, memories become triggers. A song, a smell, a place can evoke vivid feelings of longing by transporting us back emotionally. Understanding this can help us recognize when our minds are amplifying longing through selective recall. Longing affects more than just our emotions. It impacts our sense of self. When we long for someone who doesn't reciprocate, we may question our own worth, attractiveness, or value. This can lead to self-doubt and lower self-esteem. However, longing can also become a part of our identity. We may see ourselves as the one who waits or the one who loves unconditionally. While this narrative can provide meaning, it may also keep us stuck in patterns of emotional pain. Loneliness and longing are related but distinct. Loneliness is a feeling of social disconnection, a broader sense of isolation. Longing is more specific, a desire for connection with a particular person or ideal. Both can coexist and amplify each other. Humans need social connection to thrive, and the absence of meaningful relationships can make longing more acute and harder to bear. Cultural narratives shape how we experience and interpret longing. Romantic movies, songs, and literature often portray unrequited love as tragic but beautiful, encouraging us to hold on to feelings of longing as proof of deep love. This romantic ideal can make it harder to let go, as giving up may feel like betraying the authenticity of our emotions. Being aware of these cultural scripts allows us to separate healthy emotions from unrealistic expectations. While romantic longing is most discussed, longing appears in other forms as well. Grief, missing someone who has died, exile or displacement, missing a homeland or community, unfulfilled dreams, longing for a life that never materialized. These forms of longing share emotional qualities and highlight how the experience is woven into many facets of human life. There's a common saying that absence makes the heart grow fonder. While absence can increase desire, it can also distort it. The paradox lies in how absence can intensify longing but also create illusions. Sometimes, distance allows us to idealize the person more than proximity would. Understanding this paradox helps us see that longing often says as much about our internal world as about the external reality. At the core of longing for someone who doesn't reciprocate is often a wound to our self-worth. When our feelings are not returned, it can feel like a rejection, not only from the other person, but from our own value. We might ask ourselves, why am I not enough? What is wrong with me? These thoughts deepen the pain and sometimes lead to destructive patterns such as self-criticism or withdrawal. Rebuilding self-worth involves recognizing that our value is not dependent on another's affection, but inherent in who we are. This realization can gradually weaken the hold of longing. Humans crave certainty. When longing for someone who doesn't miss us, we often try to control the situation, checking their social media, reaching out repeatedly, or imagining scenarios where they might change their mind. This illusion of control temporarily eases anxiety, but often leads to frustration and increased pain. Accepting uncertainty, though difficult, opens the door to emotional freedom. It acknowledges that some aspects of connection are beyond our control and that our peace depends on how we relate to uncertainty, not on eliminating it. Paradoxically, longing can be a catalyst for emotional growth. When we face the pain of unreciprocated feelings, we are invited to explore our inner landscape, our fears, needs, and desires. This introspection can lead to deeper self-understanding, increased resilience, and eventually a richer capacity for connection. While longing is natural, it can tip into obsession, which is harmful. Signs include inability to focus on other aspects of life, constant checking or stalking behaviors, ignoring clear signs of disinterest, neglecting self-care or responsibilities. Recognizing these signs early allows for intervention through therapy, support groups, or mindfulness practices. Healing from longing often requires acceptance, acknowledging the reality of the situation without denial or resistance. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or erasing feelings, but allowing space for new experiences and relationships. Practices such as meditation, journaling, and supportive conversations can help this process. Consider Emma, who felt deeply for a colleague who barely noticed her. Every time she saw him laugh or speak, her heart raced. But despite her efforts, he never showed interest. Emma's longing became a silent companion, part hope, part ache. She idealized him, imagining they were destined for something more. Emma's story is common. Many of us have chased feelings that go unanswered. What Emma eventually realized is that her longing wasn't just about him. It was about her need to feel seen and valued. When she started nurturing those needs herself, her longing softened and she opened up to new, more mutual connections. Philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once said, "Marry and you will regret it. Don't marry, you will also regret it." This paradox captures the tension of longing. No matter what, desire and loss are part of life. Poet Rumi beautifully expressed, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Longing can be painful, but it's also an invitation to growth and transformation. Try this. Take a quiet moment and write down answers to these questions. What exactly am I longing for? Is this person truly available emotionally? What needs do I hope this longing will fulfill? How can I begin to meet those needs myself? Journaling like this can bring clarity and begin shifting perspective from pain to empowerment. Time has a curious effect on longing. In the immediate aftermath of separation or unreciprocated feelings, longing often feels raw and overwhelming, like a fresh wound. But as days, weeks, and months pass, the intensity usually diminishes. The sharp ache softens into a duller background hum. Memories may lose their edge, and new experiences begin to fill the emotional space. Yet, time alone doesn't guarantee healing. Sometimes we replay memories or ruminate on what was lost, keeping longing alive. Conscious effort is needed to engage in activities and thoughts that foster growth and renewal. Forgiveness can be a powerful tool in transforming longing, especially when the person we miss has hurt us, intentionally or not. Forgiving does not mean condoning pain or forgetting what happened. Rather, it is a gift we give ourselves to release bitterness and resentment that keep us tied to the past. By forgiving, we make space for peace. This act can help us accept absence without lingering anger or grief that fuels longing. For some, longing takes on a spiritual dimension, a search for wholeness beyond the material world. Many religious and mystical traditions see longing as a deep yearning for union with the divine, with ultimate truth, or with an ideal of unconditional love. This spiritual longing reflects a profound human desire to transcend loneliness and separation, reminding us that longing at its core is about connection. Longing, painful as it is, can also be a catalyst for creativity. Artists, writers, and musicians often channel their feelings of longing into their work, producing some of the most moving and beautiful creations. If you feel stuck in longing, try expressing your emotions through art, journaling, music, or movement. This externalization can release emotional energy and lead to healing. One important step in coping with longing is learning to set boundaries, both with others and yourself. If constant contact or social media triggers pain, it's okay to limit exposure. If you catch yourself obsessing over the person, gently redirect your focus to activities and relationships that nourish you. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect and self-care that strengthens emotional resilience. Sometimes we hold on to longing because it feels familiar. Even though it hurts, it's a part of our routine, a way to feel connected, even if the connection is one-sided. Letting go can feel scary because it means stepping into the unknown. But holding on too long keeps us stuck and stops us from finding new happiness. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or giving up on love. It means accepting that this person isn't the right connection for you right now. It's okay to feel sad. Feeling the pain is part of healing. Over time, as you accept the reality, the longing will fade and make room for new possibilities. When longing feels strong, turning your attention to yourself helps. Find things you enjoy, hobbies, friends, exercise, learning something new. Building your own happiness makes you stronger and less dependent on others for your emotional well-being. Human beings need connection. When one door closes, try opening another. Meet new people, spend time with friends, or join groups with shared interests. These new connections can bring fresh joy and help heal old wounds. When you miss someone who doesn't miss you, it's easy to be hard on yourself. Remember to treat yourself with kindness, as you would a good friend who's hurting. Say things like, "It's okay to feel this way," or "I'm doing my best." Self-compassion helps heal emotional pain and build resilience. Don't try to push your feelings away or pretend they don't exist. Accepting your emotions, even the hard ones, is the first step to moving through them. You can say to yourself, "I feel lonely, and that's normal." Acceptance creates space for healing. If longing turns into deep sadness, anxiety, or starts to affect your daily life, talking to a counselor or therapist can help. They can guide you through your feelings and give you tools to cope. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. No matter how painful longing is, remember that it won't last forever. You have the power to heal and find joy again. Each day is a new chance to grow, connect, and create a happy life. Longing happens because humans are wired for connection. We crave closeness, acceptance, and love. When we don't get that, our brain sends us signals, feelings of emptiness and yearning, to motivate us to reconnect. But sometimes the person we want isn't available. Maybe they don't feel the same, or circumstances keep you apart. This mismatch causes confusion and pain. It's important to realize that longing isn't a sign that you did something wrong or that you're unworthy. It's a natural response to losing something important. When you understand this, it becomes easier to be patient with yourself. Longing isn't just emotional. It affects your body too. You might feel restless, tired, or have trouble sleeping. Your appetite could change. You might find it hard to concentrate. These physical signs happen because your body reacts to stress and emotional pain. Knowing this can help you be gentle with yourself. When you notice these symptoms, try to rest, eat well, and do things that soothe you. Hope keeps longing alive. It whispers, maybe things will change, or maybe they'll come back. Hope can be positive, giving us strength in hard times. But too much hope for something unlikely can keep you stuck. Try to balance hope with realism. Hope for what's possible, but accept what's not. Here are some simple steps to help lessen longing. Limit reminders. If social media or places make you sad, take breaks. Stay busy. Fill your time with things you enjoy. Talk to friends. Sharing your feelings helps. Practice mindfulness. Focus on the present moment instead of past or future. Set small goals. Achieving little things builds confidence. These steps help you take control of your feelings instead of being controlled by them. Remember, your happiness doesn't depend on others. Find joy in simple things. A walk outside, a good book, a hobby. When you nurture yourself, you become stronger and less likely to rely on someone else to feel whole. You deserve to be happy, with or without anyone else. Trying new activities or meeting new people can shift your focus. It introduces new stories, new feelings, and new opportunities. Even if it's scary at first, stepping out of your comfort zone helps you heal and grow. Sometimes longing comes with anger or blame. Maybe you feel hurt by the other person or guilty for holding on too long. Forgiveness is freeing. Forgive yourself for mistakes and forgive others for their choices. This doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the heavy burden so you can move forward lighter. Longing can be painful but natural. However, sometimes it becomes unhealthy and stops you from living fully. Signs include constantly thinking about the person, unable to focus on anything else, ignoring your own needs or well-being because of this longing, feeling hopeless or stuck for long periods, obsessively checking their social media or trying to contact them repeatedly. If this sounds familiar, it's important to take steps to protect your mental health, such as setting clear boundaries and seeking support. Emotional boundaries help you keep your feelings balanced. Here are some simple ways to set boundaries. Limit how often you check on the person or think about them. Avoid places or things that trigger painful memories for a while. Focus on your own goals and interests. Say no to interactions that hurt you or cause confusion. Setting boundaries is about respecting yourself and your healing process. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you feel longing, mindfulness helps you observe your feelings without getting overwhelmed. Try simple mindfulness practices. Focus on your breath for a few minutes each day. Notice the sensations in your body. Acknowledge your feelings and let them pass like clouds in the sky. This helps you feel more grounded and less caught up in painful thoughts. Writing about your longing can bring clarity. Try journaling these prompts. What do I really miss about this person? What does longing teach me about my needs? How can I care for myself in this moment? What small steps can I take today toward healing? Journaling turns confusing feelings into clearer understanding. Gratitude might seem unrelated to longing, but it helps shift your focus from what's missing to what you have. Each day, write down 3 things you're thankful for, no matter how small. This simple practice rewires your brain toward positivity and reduces feelings of emptiness. Healing is easier when you don't do it alone. Talk to trusted friends or family about your feelings. Consider joining support groups or online communities where people share similar experiences. Knowing others understand you reduces loneliness and gives comfort. Finally, when you're ready, open your heart to new connections. New love doesn't erase the past but adds new joy and meaning to your life. Trust that the right people will come at the right time. Until then, be patient and gentle with yourself.